So we finished Playboy, and at that point, Merrill Heater once again came up with another show, and we had the nine. Sorry, it makes me laugh. Merrill, bless him, as I told you earlier, and for those joining in late, Merrill had sold the rights to all of his original shows, Hollywood Squares and Gambit and High Rollers being the three biggest. So Hollywood Squares had come back as Battle Stars with the 6 triangles. So Hollywood Teasers was strictly, once again, a Hollywood Squares type question and answer, and we had 6 squares. Different from Battle Stars because we had 6 triangles, but 6 squares. Rob Weller hosted this pilot, Hollywood Teasers, and it was great. Just like I told you how Leslie Nielsen and Howie Mandel clicked immediately when they met each other on Battle Stars. Don Rickles and Ed O'Neill, Ed was doing Married with Children at that point. They got along great. And the only problem we had on that pilot was Merrill overbooked the pilot. He because I know I did, certainly, maybe other people did. Harry didn't work with me on this, but Andrew Golder worked on it, and Steve Friedman, who I'd worked with, of course, on Newlywed Game, Dating Game, but it's too many producers. You don't need 3 producers and the executive producer, and of course, Art Alisi for the prizes. You don't need 5 of us all on stage, but we did. And mostly they deferred to me, as I recall. Maybe not. But so Merrill, as I started saying, Merrill didn't really know Pamela Anderson. He'd never worked with her. And so he also booked Kathy Ireland. Kathy Ireland was a very big model at the time. She's still, I'm sure, modeling, and she was terrific. And we also booked, we had Mark Curry booked. Mark was hosting, Mark was on a show.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Very good. Yes, that's right. Hanging with Mr. Cooper. And we booked Rita Rudner, who was funny at the time. She's kind of disappeared. I mean, she's doing stand-up, but that was when she was hot. She was reluctant to do her jokes, like Jerry Seinfeld on Battle Stars, which I didn't mention. Jerry was new and he wanted to do his own jokes, and I explained to him that's not the way the show worked. Rita was the same way. For Hollywood Teasers, she fashioned herself, a joke writer, and she didn't want to have to do our jokes, but it's a pilot and we have to set things up the right way. And, if Don Rickles can do our jokes, certainly Rita Rudner can do our jokes. So we had Rita booked, and likewise, we had Brian Austin Green booked as well. But so we had 2 extra celebrities. And with all those producers, it was up to me to tell Kathy Ireland, and Brian Austin Green, who had come down, and they're all in makeup and wardrobe, etc. Sorry, guys, you're not going to be on the show. But we had to hang on to them in the studio just in case something went wrong or Merrill didn't like a delivery, because it's just a pilot and you can do anything on a pilot. And, worst case, if, let's say, Pam Anderson, if somebody got nervous or anything happened, we could substitute somebody. But we'd never done that before on a celebrity show. So I felt kind of bad about that. I know Brian was very cool about it, but Kathy Ireland was livid. But she stayed, and it was a great pilot. But timing was just not right for it for whatever reason. I believe, and you could check certainly on IMDb, it may be the case that Hollywood Squares was coming back again with John Davidson hosting about the same time. If that's the case, that would be certainly a reason, because the pilot was terrific. I don't remember exactly who we did it for. It might have been Telepictures, but it was great working with Merrill again. And that was a great thing about Merrill. Again, I could always rely on him. If I was out of a job, I knew he would always hire me. And I'll mention one more thing about Merrill. Prior to that, a few years before, he did a show called Bargain Hunters, which is on and off, I think, in one season. And I met with him and other people that were on the staff already, and he really wanted me to produce it. And I told him, I said, Merrill, I can't work on this show. And why not? I said, it's not really a show. It's, it was kind of like when I was telling him All-Star Blitz is not a title. Bargain Hunters was a big prize show. And basically, as I recall, you had to decide if is at this price it is a bargain or not. It was a Price is Right kind of show, but it was just showcasing all of Ardalisi's prizes. And I didn't think it would be entertaining. So, I told the great Merrill Heater, no, sorry, I'm not producing your show. And yet, 2 years later or whatever, very next show he does, calls me in and I produce Hollywood Teasers, despite it not going. So that took a few weeks and that went very well. And